Internal control over inventories and cost of goods sold. The interrelationship of inventories and cost of goods sold makes it logical for the two topics to be considered together. The controls that assure the fair valuation of the inventories are found in the purchases or acquisition cycle. These controls include procedures for selecting vendors, ordering merchandise or materials, inspecting goods received, recording the liability to the vendor, and authorizing and making cash disbursements. In a manufacturing business, the valuation of inventory is also affected by the production or conversion cycle, in which various manufacturing costs are assigned to inventories, and the cost of inventories is the transferred to the cost of goods sold. The importance of adequate internal control over inventories and cost of goods sold from the viewpoint of both management and the auditors can scarcely be overemphasized. In some companies, management stresses controls over cash and the securities but pays little attention to control over inventories. Since many types of the inventories are composed of items not particularly susceptible to theft, management may consider controls to be unnecessary in this area. Such thinking ignores the fact that controls for inventory affect nearly all the functions involved in producing and disposing of the company's products. Sources and nature of inventories and cost of goods sold. The term inventories is used in this chapter to include goods on hand ready for sale, whether the merchandise of a trading concern or the finished goods of a manufacturer, goods in the process of production, and goods to be consumed directly or indirectly in production, such as raw materials, purchase parts, and supplies. Misstatements of inventory. These are the description of misstatements, examples, and the internal control weakness or the factors that increase the risk of the misstatement. First, we have the misstatement of inventory cost. Fraud, intentional misstatement of production costs assigned to inventory, intentional misstatement of inventory prices. Ineffective board of directors, audit committee, or internal audit functions. Tone of the top, not conducive to ethical conduct, undue pressure to meet earnings target. Tone of the top is commonly referred to in auditing or accounting that is used to define a company's management and board of directors leadership and their commitment to being honest and ethical. So error, the assignment of direct labor costs, direct material costs, or a factory overhead to inventory item is inaccurate. Erroneous pricing of inventory. Ineffective cost of accounting system. Failure to update standard costs on a timely basis. Ineffective input validation controls on the database of inventory costs. Ineffective supervision of the personnel that enter the cost of the final inventory schedule. Next is the misstatement of inventory quantities. Fraud. Items are stolen with no journal entry reflecting the theft. Inventory quantities in location not visited by auditors are systematically overstated. Ineffective physical controls over inventories. Ineffective board of directors, audit committee, or internal audit function. Tone of the top not conducive to ethical conduct. Undue pressure to meet earnings target. Error. Miscounting of inventory by personnel involved in physical inventory. Ineffective controls or supervision of physical inventory. Lastly, we have the early or late recognition of purchases or cut-off problems. Examples: fraud, intentional recording of purchases in the subsequent period. Ineffective board of directors, audit committee, or internal function tone at the top not conducted 2. Ethical conduct, undue pressure to meet earnings target. Error, recording purchases of the current period in the subsequent period. Ineffective accounting procedures that do not tie recorded purchases to receiving data.